We begin, though, with this. After 2 days of meeting, the White House says American and Chinese negotiators have agreed on a framework to get the trade truce back on track. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says the deal puts, quote, meat on the bones of an agreement to ease the tariffs on both sides. On Truth Social, President Trump said the deal was done, in saying in part, quote, fold magnets and any necessary rare earths will be supplied up front by China. Likewise, we will provide to China what was agreed to, including Chinese students using our colleges and universities, which has always been good with me. We are getting a total of 55% tariffs. China is getting 10%. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. Ed, very good to see you. A lot riding on this. What does this framework for an agreement accomplish, and what's still left to be done at this point?
Well, Nancy, first of all, we don't know that either the president or Chinese President Xi Jinping have formally signed off on these. The president says it's done. But then in the White House briefing a little while ago, they made it sound as if he's still sort of reviewing things. And we've gotten no official word from Beijing that President Xi has signed off. So we need to know that that's happened. We need to know the president has signed off on it. And then we believe what's happening now is that China is going to resume exporting these rare earth minerals, or rare earth supplies that are needed to build key pieces of American industry, whether it's automobiles, fighter jets, key pieces of technology. The defense and aerospace and airline industries especially had been clamoring for the president to get China to start exporting those materials again to ensure that the production of key supplies, key pieces of equipment could continue. That appears to be ready to go, but the question is that happening now? Has everything been signed off on? And then these tariffs, 55% on Chinese goods. That's still pretty high. 10% on American goods going into China. Is that going to be considered sufficient by small business leaders and owners in this country? Is Wall Street going to be okay with that kind of percentage still being in place? And the president also says that as part of this deal, remember, there had been a lot of focus in recent days on whether or not Chinese students could continue attending American colleges and universities. The president says, as part of this agreement, they can. There had been a more rigorous review underway of many of them, or most of them, by the State Department, but the president now saying they'll be allowed to come. Are those background checks going to continue? Will there be more surveillance of them? We don't know.
Still a lot of unanswered questions then. And Ed, looking ahead to this weekend, on another note, the Army is commemorating its 250th anniversary with a festival and a parade there in D.C. That'll be on Saturday, which also happens to be President Trump's 79th birthday. So what do we know about the event, and how will any demonstrations potentially against it be handled?
We know this is something the president has wanted to do since his first term, after seeing these kinds of military parades in places like Paris for Bastille Day. Of course, we also see them in places like Moscow and Beijing and Pyongyang. And there's been some concern raised here in Washington that perhaps that's what this is going to look like, whether you like that, whether you are opposed to that kind of a massive demonstration. This is going to cost anywhere from $25 to $45 million to put on in the streets of Washington on Saturday. As it says there, 6,600 soldiers, 150 military vehicles, 50 aircraft of all sorts expected to participate in this parade that's going to go off about 6:30 Eastern time Saturday night. Local authorities are saying they are anticipating hundreds of thousands of people to be in the streets of Washington to see this. As for protests, there aren't necessarily any officially planned for in central Washington itself, but in communities outside Washington and in thousands of communities across the country on Saturday, organizers are hosting what they're calling a No Kings rally, essentially rallying against or protesting against the Trump administration's actions. All expected, or at least billed, right for now, as peaceful. But when you've heard the president in recent days suggest that protesters should be on watch and know that there could be a federal response if there's violence, we'll see what turnout is like for those protests across the country, Nancy.
Yeah, big weekend ahead. Ed O'Keefe, thank you. And you can see live coverage of the Army's 250th anniversary parade on Saturday. Watch CBS News 24/7 beginning at 6:30 p.m. Major Garrett will anchor our coverage of the parade, the entertainment, and the fireworks from Washington, D.C.